Okay, we are super late getting anything done for this video. As of writing the script, it's Sunday night, and I'm running on Taco Bell and orange soda.
Alrighty, job well done.
Smartass. What do we have ready to go?
Evidence for God. Young Earth evidence.
On another one of those, then. These usually come fast and loose, so let's just get right to it, then. Blah, blah, channel, blah, blah. Oh, who cares at this point? Young Earth is a joke and deserves to be treated as such. When I see something that isn't rehashed rhetoric we haven't shat on several times before, I'll actually take it seriously. Let's get right into this and see what this cheeseball channel named Christian Evidence has to say.
Evidence 1. Dinosaurs are often used as the poster child for evolution and an old Earth, with evolutionists claiming that dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago, long before any humans existed. Yet, legends of dragons are found in virtually every country's mythology. Dinosaurs are depicted in countless ancient cave drawings, tapestries, and carvings, like this 500 to 1,500-year-old rock carving in Utah that resembles a sauropod dinosaur, and this bas-relief carved by ancient Asians nearly 800 years before scientists discovered Stegosaurus fossils. Dinosaur fossils have even been found with extremely well-preserved soft tissues still containing blood cells, proteins, and DNA, defying millions of years of preservation.
Starting off with misinformation, huh? Dragons were mythical creatures even back then, and no one actually thought they existed. Most of it came from finding fossilized remains at the surface and trying to make sense of it by attributing the fossils to these mythical creatures that breathed fire. They were all highly fantasized. Now, what are those drawings of? Again, more fossils found, and a lot of them were just hoaxes. Man-made replicas of things we thought to be true at the time. Either way, this doesn't mean anything, and we did a long form of this with Kent Hovind once already. You can go and look back at my seminar series if you want to see more.
Evidence 2. One of the methods used by evolutionists to date fossils younger than 50,000 years is radiocarbon dating, since the half-life of carbon-14 is only 5,730 years. Yet, carbon-14 has been found in everything, including all the Earth's diamonds that are supposedly 1 to 3 billion years old.
I love how he debunks himself right at the start, saying that carbon-14 is only one of the methods we use. And since the only real argument he put up was carbon-14 we find in some materials and in diamonds, we can just address that easily. And I'm trying not to go absolutely berserk mode on this, but when we tested all the things we did and found carbon-14 and the things were millions of years old, the carbon-14 readings matched the background carbon-14 in the fucking lab. Meaning there was no carbon-14 in the object itself before we did the fucking test. You absolute shit for brains, mediocre method of a 2-bit shit-eating Neanderthal. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Evidence 3. According to evolutionists, the oceans are about 3.8 billion years old. Yet, based on the current rate at which salt enters and leaves the ocean, today's ocean saltiness would be reached in only 42 million years. This is much more consistent with the biblical timescale of about 6,000 years when the global flood is taken into account, and the likelihood that oceans were already salty at the time of creation.
Oh my goodness, are we doing the young Earth novice arguments or something? The salinity of the oceans is at an equilibrium. Salt is entering and leaving the oceans at the same or similar rates right now, and keeping the tables constant. If the Earth were young, all bodies of water would be salt water, as the entire planet would have had brackish water covering it, which would have killed off any sea life not suited to survive in brackish. Salt would have killed the freshwater species, and the lack of salt would have killed the saltwater species. Then, on top of that, the oceans didn't evaporate. The water allegedly went underground, leaving the entire planet in brackish water oceans. That is not enough time for the entire oceans of water to become as salted as they are, or the vast lakes to deposit and bury all the salt in them to become fresh, seeing as how young earthers think that had to happen in less than a few hundred years, since we have heavily documented writings of freshwater lakes and saltwater oceans existing more than 3,000 years ago and close to 5,000 years ago.
Evidence 4. According to evolutionists, the Moon and Earth are about 4.54 billion years old. Yet, based on the current rate at which the Moon is moving away from Earth, which would have been even higher in the past, the Moon and Earth would have touched each other way before then. In fact, they would have been within catastrophic proximity in less than 1.4 billion years.
Well, that was just blatantly wrong and had a blatant lie in it. If the Moon and the Earth were closer together, the Moon would be moving slower away, not faster. If you do the math correctly, instead of on the back of a cocktail napkin while drunk off your ass, you would see that the Moon leaving orbit fits a 4.5 billion year timescale. Why are all these so easy to, counter? I mean, really?
Evidence 5. According to scientists, a supernova, or massive star explosion, occurs approximately once every 25 years within our galaxy, leaving behind fragments that are visible for over 1 million years. Our galaxy is supposedly 13.51 billion years old. Yet, only about 200 supernova fragments can be observed in our galaxy, which is consistent with about 7,000 years worth of supernovas.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong. And grossly overinflated. Supernova occur in the galaxy about 2 to 4 times less often than he said. Once every 50 to 100 years, not every 25. Plus, the remnants fade out only about 1 million years. Most of them are concealed by cosmic dust, which is the same reason we can't see much in the galactic center, or they are too far away to observe in great detail. Actually, again, doing the math, we can see exactly what we would expect to see given the time frames. Please give me a hard one.
Kinky.
Not like that.
Evidence 6. According to scientists, the highest number of mitochondrial DNA mutations recorded in the human race is around 100. Yet, based on the current rate of 0.5 mutations per generation, it would take only 200 generations, less than 6,000 years, to accumulate this number. In a 1997 research paper, evolutionists admitted, using our empirical rate to calibrate the mtDNA molecular clock would result in an age of the mtDNA most recent common ancestor or the first human woman of only 6,500 years. Of course, it received little attention in the evolutionary community.
I bet you think you're so smart. Y chromosome Adam was hundreds of thousands of years ago. Funny how he never mentioned that. And it gained a ton of attention. Both mitochondrial Eve and Y chromosome Adam were the talk of the town for a long while, and they still are today. This is all just lies.
Evidence 7. According to scientists, the Earth's magnetic field, which protects us from solar radiation, has been rapidly decaying at a rate of 5% per century. Yet, based on the current rate, the field and thus the Earth could be no older than 20,000 years, since Earth would have been unable to support life due to heat from the electric current by then.
Assuming the decay rate is constant, which it's not, assuming the field strength never increases, which it does and has in our own lifetimes, and the heat, that's just fucking foggy. The heat would be decreasing, and yet we have global warming right now. Yes, that's a joke. The magnetic field strength ebbs and flows back and forth. We can see evidence of this already. Nothing to write home about.
Evidence 8. According to evolutionists, the first humans were born in Africa around 200,000 years ago. Yet, ancient man only began making written records, beautiful cave paintings, and even building megalithic monuments, about 4,000 to 5,000 years ago. Agriculture is also said to have begun only 10,000 years ago. Why would they wait 2,000 centuries before using the same skills to record history? And why did none of them discover that plants grow from seeds?
Is he serious? That's like pointing out that we know how to make computers back in the 60s and 70s, so why didn't we make a smartphone back then? Huh? Tell me.
Yeah, bitch.
Intelligence is a selected trait. We got smarter and learned as a species and figured things out. Yes, humans lived back then, and yes, we solve problems much the same way we do now. But just because we are living on this rock in space and humans have always been on this rock in space doesn't mean we know everything there is to know all of a sudden about this rock in space. I mean, if God were real, he would have been able to give us this knowledge from the beginning, but he didn't. Does that mean it's proof God doesn't exist? No, but it's better evidence that he doesn't exist than us learning agriculture 10,000 years ago means he does.
Evidence 9. According to evolutionists, the world population was roughly between 1 and 10 million at the time agriculture began, which means at least 8 billion bodies and their artifacts would have been buried since the supposed first Homo sapien. Yet, only a few thousand Stone Age skeletons and artifacts have been found.
Just gonna answer this quickly as I want to get recording. Bones decompose. Fossils are rare. This isn't hard to understand. Number 10 better be awesome or I'm gonna be pissed off.
Evidence 10. According to evolutionists, the oldest tree on Earth is the Great Basin bristlecone pine in California, and since it is a living tree, it has been fairly accurately dated via tree rings to be approximately 4,300 years old. This is perfectly consistent with the biblical account, but a dilemma for those who believe in millions of years. Why are there no older trees?
There are. Let Angel and I show you one. Everyone meet Pando. Pando is a quaking aspen clonal colony organism. The root system is all connected. It changes color all at the same time, and from one clonal tree to the next, it is the exact same genetic structure. It is one organism. It's also twice as old or 3 times as old as Methuselah, which he referenced. So that's all 10. Call this another Young Earth debunking speed run. See if Fall for Faith around and find out this coming Friday. In the meantime, I am Corsi, and this is the Fluffy Atheist. Pet those like and subscribe buttons, and remember, a little research goes a long way. Let the Fluffy Atheist do it for you.